So I I wanted to introduce everyone to an app called Midjourney. Let me see if I can get it up here. All right, you should be able to see this screen. So Midjourney is a image generation AI program that generates images from natural language descriptions or prompts. You may be familiar with other generative programs like OpenAI's DALL-E, and there's also one called Stable. I'm going to drop in the chat, if I can find it. I'm going to drop a link, which I found very helpful when I was setting myself up on Midjourney. So unlike other AI platforms, Midjourney is actually done through Discord. So you have to set up an account through Midjourney and also one through Discord. And that's what it uses to generate the images. But Midjourney is oh, thank you, Kiana, for that information. That's really interesting if Adobe's picking up on this too. So Midjourney can be used for a number of things. I mean, you'll see it a lot in Etsy, and smaller artists are using it and other things, but it can also be used in business settings. So I'm talking making advertisements, potentially marketing campaigns, creating contents, logos, icons, thumbnails, really anything you can think of. I used it recently. We're building a company intranet, and I used it to create some more engaging stock images for some of the articles that I've used. It is, I should caveat, unlike ChatGPT, this is not free. There is a free version, but it's pretty convoluted. This version that I've signed up for is $10 a month. And it comes with limitations, 200 generations and speeds and all of that sort of stuff. But this is basically what you can do. And I have some recent examples here, but I would love to do a demo with this group to just see, what we can do. So, I mean, you really can go all out. So just as an example, we can just do a one-word prompt, like let's say university, and we can set the parameters as to what it would use. I should spell this right. Unlike ChatGPT, this is very spell check sensitive. I need to install Grammarly Go onto my Discord, I guess. But for just an example, wide open, a single word, let's see what it can generate. Because from here, and it does take about 1 to 60 seconds is about the time frame that it takes to generate 4 images. While we do this, you generally will start with whatever the subject that you're wanting to include. So a location, person, occupation, and then you can go to the style that you're looking for. So you could do photorealistic. You could do a painting. You could do an illustration, digital art, film stills. And then you can go into color schemes, what lens and angle you'd like, what lighting you'd like. So these are the images that it generated for university. So let's just say we want to narrow this down a little bit. Let's say we want to, and what it'll do, I forgot to mention this, it will generate 4 images, and we can get in a little bit closer. These are usually lower resolution images. Still 60 seconds, it generates 4 original images. But we can, if we love one of them, we can upscale it. If we want to see variations of it, we can change them. But let's say we want more prompts. So let's say we want something like university, but we are focused on creating we wrote an article about teachers teaching in universities, and the challenges they're running into. So we can say university, let's throw in some more prompts. Unlike ChatGPT, this tends to work better with just phrase if you take out all of the fluff. So yes, I could write, could you create an image that has a university with a teacher and 12 students? But oftentimes those words, especially if they are, homonyms, could generate kind of variations on the image. So let's say a university teacher. And Susan, I do see your question. As of this moment, they're open source. These are all original images. and therefore not copywritten. Yeah. So let's say we want a university teacher, 12 students. Let's say we want it to be in a happy mood and we want it to be photorealistic. This one is going to take a second to make sure I spell this correctly. Let's give it a bird's eye view because we want to see it from above. And my favorite light is golden hour, you know, get right in front of that sunset. I see we got some golden hour right here, but you know, I think everyone looks better in golden hour. There are a few parameters that you can, I'll touch on them a little more in detail, but there are a few more parameters that you can do. So one of them is we need this image to be a 16:9 image as opposed to a square, which it'll generate. We would like it, one of the fun ones, we can say something like no, we don't want any paper. It's not the best at this, but we'll give that a try. We don't want paper because we want it to be digital. And let's do, this one's a fun one. You can do chaos, and chaos ranges from 0 to 100. And within that you can, so if you want 4 completely disparate images, you do 100 and they'll be wild. So let's go somewhere in the middle and do chaos 50. Oh, I missed something here. This is all right. For example, oh man, I tried all afternoon and I messed these up. All right, so we're gonna take out the AR just because I failed at it somehow. I think, no, imagine prompt chaos 50. Let me take out the comments here. Sometimes that can mess it up. So we're gonna have this start. While we're working on this, I'm gonna show you some other things, cool things you can. So you are limited into what you can and cannot do within it. So I couldn't say, hey, take this same image that we created and get rid of that guy. What we can do are, there are some settings that you can play with. And if you do /settings, you can bring it. And so you can see various versions, which these are the various versions of the model. You can change it. So if you want the style to be really wild or really low or extremely high, remix mode is kind of fun. I'll show you that in a second with this generation. But you can have it go fast, slow if you're not in any rush, because you do have limited fast hours. Everything has limits in here. But this one's still waiting to start, so it might be a popular time to do the Midjourney things, apparently. So let's go back to this one while we wait here, and let's just say we love this one. This is my favorite one. It's kind of cool. The daunting fears of going to university the first year as a young freshman. But let's say it's not quite right. So let's upscale it. Oh no. So this is where the what was it called? The different modes that you can use are within the settings. And one of them are, it does allow you to take a single image and vary it slightly. So let's say we like this, but we want to zoom it out farther because we want that person to just be really small. This is kind of a fun feature because you can literally pan. So if we want him not to be in the center, we can pan it over so he's off to the right or the left. But let's for now just zoom this one out. Let's see how this one is going. Oh, here we go. We're getting a teacher with 12 students. Not seeing any students yet, but that could be because we cranked chaos up to 50. And so you'll see that it takes a second to generate. But here we go. Now we included in this university a teacher, students, because we have, let me scroll back, because here's a teacher with 12 students. Man, I would love to go to this university. This looks like the edge of Hogwarts. I kind of want to see that one a little bit bigger. This one's with the chaos, so you can really get wild. If you crank the chaos up to 100, these pictures are all over the place. But I kind of want to see this one. And I'd like to see 4 versions of that. So that'll take this and it'll create 4 versions of this Hogwarts looking university. So let's go back up here. And now what we can see is within, I'm trying to do too much here, but now we've created, this is the zoomed out version. So they took that same image and they zoomed it out farther. So these are all, and Christy, I see your question about consent, especially about pics of kids if they're taken from the internet. So these are all generated images. So they aren't taking any pictures from the internet. I'm not sure how that works in terms of how it creates the generative or how it generates the images. But none of these are actual, like if I said, show a picture of a child, it would create a picture of a child from scratch. So one thing, I mean, we can actually going in as there's a number of things that you could do with this. You know, if you wanted a stock image of things or for creating, we used it to create our icon for our AI task force. One other thing, there are some fun things that you can do. You can actually add images in here. So I'm taking a public image, which is CJ. And I'm gonna take him, and I don't know what would be an interesting prompt to have CJ. Maybe we want him to be a superhero. It's maybe how your kids see you, CJ. Oh, a superhero farmer, great. We can. I think we should do an animated version. CJ Chaos 100. Okay, we're gonna do it. Animated. We did Golden Light, so yeah. I think I think this is a good starting point. Let's just see what happens when we chaos this up to 100. Oh, you know what would have been important if I actually included the imagine part there. Great picture, CJ. All right, now we're gonna put this in here and see what it comes up with. Oh, man, I'm failing. I'm just gonna hide that evidence because I misspelled chaos. There we go. At long last, let's see what superhero farmer animated chaos 100 CJ Orr looks like. Earlier I was playing around with this. There's a few things, like if you are at a theater, I had created some, while this works, I am gonna show you some of the other things. Like here's a classroom with students. This is two stage actors, children, crocodile. So if a children's theater, if anyone in the children's theater is doing Lyle the Crocodile, the musical, can generate some images prompting for that. And now the great reveal, the moment we've been waiting for. Oh boy, here it comes. Oh, wow. CJ, you were asking about adding muscles to you. All right, which of these should we see a couple other versions of? This looks straight out of Disney. All right, CJ, what's your favorite? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Oh yeah, of course you're gonna choose that one. Let's see 3 versions of or 4 new versions of number 3. I think this looks just like CJ. The hair is actually pretty spot on. Wow. CJ, have you ever had a mustache like this before? Because yeah, that's pretty sharp. All right, let's let's upscale this one. This one looks most superhero-like. And I'm gonna just drop this. I don't know if you can drop images in the chat, but I will drop this full scale version I'll send this over to CJ so he can have this for later usage. But I mean, that's that. Yes, Maddie, please, CJ, upload this to the website as a replacement. But back to this, back to me. I mean, that is Midjourney in a nutshell. Like I said, it's, I think, $10. As when I signed up, it was $10 a month. Or you can do an annual subscription, but it's very fun to play around with.